Hey guys, my name is Raven. So today I'll be giving you a demo of my project called Uniswap V2 Rebuild, Revamped, or Uniswap V2 on steroids. So basically, I used the original Uniswap V2 protocol and gave it a modern upgrade, both under the hood and on the surface. So I started by rewriting the Uniswap V2 using Foundry, updating all the core and peripheral contracts to the latest Solidity version and combining them into a single repository. You can check it out in the description. And here's me. You can connect with me in the link as well. So this is the UI where users can swap tokens, and they can also add and remove liquidity positions over here and visualize the AMM behavior live with the custom charts. So one showing the reserve curve x into y is equal to k constant, and the one is showing a historical distribution of swap prices. But the real upgrade was making the Uniswap feel smarter and more accessible. So I added the full natural language interface powered by OpenAI. So users can now just speak things like swap 10 USDC for Ether, or show my liquidity position and get price of some tokens that they want. So behind the scenes, these natural language commands are passed into structured data using function calling, then converted into real Ethereum transactions using Ether shares, and lastly signed by MetaMask. So let's start with the demo. So I'll select link. So I already have a pool with link and wrapped ether and uni and wrapped ether. So let's swap 5 link for some ether. So when I add as a 5 links, so the interface shows my input, and it calculates the output amount in real time, and also below it also shows the exchange rate and the price impact of the trade based on the current reserves over here. And it under the hood, once I click the swap button, it constructs a swap exact tokens for tokens function from the Uniswap V2 router. And you can also see the route here, so basically which shows the swap is taking place from link to wrapped ether. This helps us to understand from which token to token we are doing the swap, and it can be mainly help to analyze multiple hop, which is done in Uniswap V2, which I'll show in the next thing. So let's swap 5 link for some wrapped ether. When I click swap, so it takes me to my MetaMask. Yeah. So we can see that the method is called as swap exact tokens for tokens. So we'll just say confirm. Yeah, the swap is done. So I'm using Tenderly. So basically, Tenderly helps us to host our personal virtual testnet. So this testnet is basically the forked version of Ethereum mainnet. So you can see the transaction happened where from this particular account the balance is like -5, and we have wrapped ether of 0.0414 from here. Now let's try doing the multi-hop swap. So since I mentioned that I have only two pools currently, that is link and wrapped ether and uni and wrapped ether. So I'll try to swap uni and link. Let's see how does the protocol works. Let's say like Now I have uni and wrapped ether, but I'll choose link. Let's also say like 5 uni. Let's see how much the output amount is. So we have like 0.0166. The route shows uni to wrapped ether. This is the curve. So the curve is basically it's a constant product AMM curve. So which is used in Uniswap V2, where you can see the product of two token reserves x into y is equal to k remains. You can see it over here. So the x represents the uni uni reserves and the y represents the wrapped ether reserves. So the green line it shows all possible reserve combination that satisfies the equation x y is equal to k, and the pink dot it marks the current reserve position of the pool, and the curve it illustrates how automated market makers maintain price balance. If we increase the wrapped ether reserve by adding liquidity or performing a swap, the uni reserve must decrease in such a way that the product stays constant and vice versa. So these kind of curves are essential for understanding how slippage, price impact, liquidity behave during the swaps. And the other is historical price distribution. So the x-axis here also it represents the wrapped ether, and you need the price rates, and the y is basically the number of swaps done. So these type of charts is very helpful for understanding swap trends over time, where most of the activity is concentrated and these kind of stuffs. So let's try to swap uni with link, which I don't have any contract for them. So this will be demonstrating a multi-hop swap. Yeah. So so there is a function called pathfinder before swapping takes place. Swapping or calculating the amount takes place when I add the amount I want to swap from uni. So the pathfinder finds these particular tokens from which we could be able to do this. So it says like 5 uni. It is swapped with wrapped ether first with 0.016, and then this wrapped ether is then again swapped with link. So there are like two pair contracts involved to do this transaction. You can also see the price impact of 60.60% over here. So we won't be able to see any charts over for this particular pair contract generated because this is a multi-hop demonstration. Yeah. So again, we can see that we have initiated swap exact tokens for tokens. So yeah, again, three tokens are involved in this particular transaction. The swap is done. Let's check it in the tenderly. Yeah, just now. Yeah, you can see that first I'm giving 5 unis. So you can see that basically this particular address is giving 5 unis and receiving 1.99 links. And this is the pair contract from link and ether, and this is the pair contract of uni and wrapped ether, where for this first takes place, where it takes 5 unis from this person to this contract, and it gives 0. 0.016 of wrapped ether, and again this wrapped ether is used for this particular transaction, and from there we receive link. Now let's see the functionalities of pool. So currently we have like link and wrapped ether. So let's try add this. Let's try adding some liquidity position. So currently we don't have any liquidity position for this particular account. So let's say like link. So if I want to add like 1,000 link, and it will show the corresponding amount of wrapped ether automatically, which is calculated based upon the current pool ratio. From this, the current total reserves of link and wrapped ether pool is also shown over here. These reserves actually define the price curve we saw earlier, and they update dynamically as the swaps and liquidity changes occur. So once I hit the add liquidity, I become a liquidity provider LP, which means I will receive LP tokens that represent my share of the pool. These tokens are basically entitled to me. So the proportional share of trading fees, a portion of pool when I withdraw. At the bottom, you can also view all the available tokens. So I'll just check if I have 1,000 of link to add. Yeah, I do have sufficient of those. So let's say add liquidity. You can also see the I have called the add liquidity function. Okay, so the liquidity has been added from this particular address. So you can see I can select this particular, yeah. So I've selected link and wrapped ether pair. The interface shows the total reserves currently in the pool, where I'm holding 91 of the LP tokens. To remove a liquidity, if I choose how much of those tokens I want to burn, that's 25%, 50%, 100%. In this case, I'm removing. In this case, it's showing like I'm removing 100%. Then I'll be receiving almost everything that I have added in my liquidity pool. So this functionality directly calls the remove liquidity function in the Uniswap V2 router contract. So basically it burns my LP tokens and returns both underlying tokens, in this case link and wrapped ether, back to my account. So let's try to see this. So we have link of 3848 uh, as a last four digits. So let's see if this gets added. Let's say I just want to remove like 20 of my LP tokens. That is 200 of link I'll be getting back, and 1.8 of wrapped ether. 48. Okay, 848. remove liquidity. You can see that I have to approve for this particular transaction. So I'll be interacting with the pair contract to remove this liquidity. Now liquidity is removed. Let's see if so we can see that I have got my 200 of link back, that is 20 LP tokens. Let's refresh. Yeah, yeah. So this particular address 3724 has received like 219 of the link and 1.8 of wrapped ether. Yeah. So this is the essential part of Uniswap's LP's life cycle, because you add tokens to earn fees, and when you are done, you remove liquidity to reclaim your share of the reserves. Now we'll look at AI chat command center. So here it uses the natural language interface built right in top of Uniswap V2. This takes Uniswap to a next level by allowing users to speak or type commands like swap token A for token B, or I can say like convert my token A to token B. And you can also able to add or remove liquidity using the right command. And the chatbot, it also supports app specific data analysis commands, like what are the reserves of uni and wrapped ether pool, and how many swaps have been done so far. So let's try the command. Let's execute this. Swap my 10 link for wrapped ether. So this should call swap exact tokens for tokens method from the contract. Yeah. So we got the transaction hash over here. So under the hood, when the user enters the command is passed to an OpenAI API, where it uses the function calling to extract the structured intent. Based on the detected intent, the app chooses the right Uniswap contact function. Like here, you swap exact tokens for tokens. Like we can also use like add liquidity, get reserves, and stuff. Then the transaction is then constructed using Ether shares and sent to the blockchain. Let's try the voice command and say like get me 10 uni with wrapped ether. Now you can see that I have specified that I need only 10 uni. So it has called the correct function, that is swap tokens for exact tokens. Let's check it internally. I received correct 10 unis for whatever the wrapped ether amount is. Now let's go back to the reserves and try to add with the voice command. So we can see that we have a wrapped ether of 501 and uni of 150k something. So let's try to add some wrapped ether. So let's add the liquidity. You can see that the optimal amount for uni has been 2000 29,970. So let's check in the tenderly. I have successfully added 100 wrapped ether with 29k of unis. Let's see the reserve curve now. You can see that there was a shift in the curve. So it is now 601 with wrapped ether and 180k of unis. I can also ask like how many swaps have been there so far today. Yes. Okay. So there were like total of 73 of the swaps. Now I can be more specific also. How many swaps have been there till today for uni and wrapped ether pool? So there were only 19 till now. So this brings the power of DeFi to anyone, even those who don't understand smart contract, APIs, or even token addresses. Just say what you want, and the system figures it out. It's a Uniswap V2, but smarter and even more user friendly. Think of it as having your own DeFi copilot. Just speak and it trades.